Life would be very boring without trends. But the thing about classics is that when you go back to them, they're your point of reference and they give you grounding, so then you can move on and try more exciting things later.
I'm reviving some favorite French classics. A sweet souffle, only a chilled version made with fresh berries. Duck à l'orange, a French restaurant favorite, only simplified. Petit Pois à la Francaise, fresh peas cooked with strands of lettuce, pearl onions, and bacon. And pomme à a traditional potato cake that melts in your mouth.
And classics themselves, if you do them right, don't have to be boring at all. Not in fashion and not in food. Real mail for once. Bill. Jennifer. Got a letter from Jennifer, a real live letter. This never happens anymore. She's a great francophile. And she's sending me a recipe. I've included my recipe for fruit mousse with a whisper of gelatin for you to try. Let me know how you make out with the recipe and when you plan to be back in Paris, and we'll have dinner. I'll make berry dessert. I'm going to make it for tonight. I'm making all classic foods, and strawberry souffle will be a perfect ending. Strawberries, eggs, and cream. So I don't want the hulls, obviously. I don't need to impress anyone tonight, though. I just want to be nice because my brother's coming over, my big brother, and my fashion designer friend Anna, and my other friend Michelle. I like to have lots of dresses, and Anna makes great ones, so I told her to make me some new designs. Okay, done. Now I need to puree these with some lemon juice and a pinch of salt. Puree them right in there. And a squeeze of lemon. That will keep them nice and fresh, and a 1/4 cup of sugar. That's it. Now, puree. Now, I know Jennifer, and she's just like me, and I know she would strain this. If you had mixed berries, like if you had raspberries, you wouldn't want the seeds in there, right? So you'd always want to strain it out. Nice and smooth. Now, I have to prepare my souffle dish. I need parchment paper. Fold that over, so I want it nice and thick. And then you give it a collar in a very priestly fashion. Now, what does she say? Inch of water in the bottom of a saucepan. Boiling, all right. Separate 3 eggs. I'm just gonna separate these. I'm not gonna whip them just yet. So I need yolks, and I need to put some sugar in there and dissolve it. 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup of puree goes in here too. And just to get my gelatin softening, I need a 1/4 cup of cold water and 1½ teaspoons of gelatin. I'll just let that soften while I whisk this over the heat. But I want the water just simmering because all I'm trying to do is melt the little grains of sugar so I don't get that grainy texture in it. That's good. That's nice and smooth. Now, this is a great little trick of Jennifer's. The gelatin is all softened, and now to melt it, you just use that water and set the ramekin down in the simmering water, and then the gelatin will melt. So, next I need half a cup of cream. I'll whisk that first. Wasn't so hard. Now you just wait there for your turn. And now my egg whites. Once the froth disappears, add the remaining quarter cup of sugar. Now I'm going to add the gelatin, warm, to my slightly warmed egg and sugar mixture. And then I'm going to fold everything together. A nice big spatula for folding. First, a little bit of egg white into the berries, just to get it closer in texture to the other two things that get folded in. I think I'll do this in the cream bowl. Fold that first. So I'm going to do it all right in on top of the egg whites. Now I'm just going to pour it, and it looks quite liquid, but don't worry. Once it sets, it's going to look like it has risen as if baked in the oven. Now I just need to let it chill for a good 4 hours, which will give me just enough time to do all my dishes.
Another classic, pomme Anna, a friend's version that uses cream instead of butter, making an incredibly decadent torte of potato layers.
Come on in, bring your bag. Want a beer? Make yourself comfortable. It's good in here. We're gonna eat outside. There you go. Thanks. I'll keep you busy. My strawberry souffle is chilling in the fridge, and I have to make my potatoes Anna.
Pomme Anna, potatoes thinly sliced, tossed in cream, and baked to form a cake.
So that's gonna be my dish. I'll get these potatoes. Those skins are so thin, I'm not even gonna bother peeling them. I like thin, thin slices. La 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 la. Now, I've seen this made with butter, and then I tried to do it with butter and didn't work out for me. So, I like the cream method. You need quite a lot of cream. And I want them absolutely saturated, and I want them to soak it up. I want salt and pepper in there. Lots of salt. So good for you. Cream, salt, and other vitamins. Great, I like lots of pepper. Now, I'm gonna toss these. Get them all covered in cream. Maybe some thyme. And rosemary. Now, just one last little trick. I'm going to line this pan with a little parchment. Pinch of butter. Smear the butter on the parchment. I don't want anything sticking. Putting it that way, and then in here too. Oop. Now I'm going to need another ring of this to go on top. I'll just smear a little butter on this one too for the top. They're ready. The oven should be really hot when they go in, so put it on 400. Seasoned with salt and pepper, and you just layer them. Some cream stays on, that's good. You don't have to throw out the cream, I mean, you can pour it into a soup. Make a chowder. So then in between, in and around, you put some herbs. All those nice herbs, get them distributed through. And then butter side down, parchment on top. And give it a good press. They're going to cook down and meld together and make a really dense potato cake with all those little layers in it. And that needs 2 hours. You can check it. If you want a knife to go really easily through it, cut it into wedges.
I've got not just a classic, but a total cliché, duck à l'orange, a simple version.
Hey Laura, how are you?
Good.
What's on the menu this evening?
I'm looking for some duck today.
Duck, okay, yeah.
I'm making duck à l'orange.
Well, I've got some beautiful breasts here. These are the Mullard. They're a cross between the Peking and the Muscovy.
What difference does it make between one kind and the other kind?
How they'll eat, how much fat they'll have. The Mullards, they carry a lot of exterior fat on them. Most chefs will take that fat and they'll cook it down.
Score it and render it. Perfect.
Okay, great. Rock
Great.
those up.
Thanks.
With friends coming for dinner, I've made an entire menu of French classics. A light and fluffy strawberry souffle that's chilling in the fridge, pomme Anna, a melt-in-your-mouth potato dish, and now for my main course, duck à l'orange, a tasty French cliché as simple as can be.
So you can make something that's a super duper French classic and it's done in 15 minutes. You need 4 oranges for this recipe. I'm going to zest 2 using a vegetable peeler. And then you use the sections of 1 and you juice these also. When you use a vegetable peeler, you get less of that white pith on the back, which you have to take off anyway, so it just makes it easier. And all that white stuff which tastes bitter and nasty, you take off. Okay, now I want to cut these in little strips. I like them quite thin because in the mouth you don't want to get a big chunk of orange. You just want a little thread of it. These zests I'm going to blanch and they go right into the sauce. In a little pot you get some water and you blanch the zests. It's just one catch. You have to do it 3 times. So while that comes to a boil, I'm going to juice these and the rest go into little sections. Okay, drain this. And you don't want to use the same water. You see how yellow that water was? That's all that bitterness going away. Then I give it a rinse and put it back in. And it goes again. And that is the last round of that. And now there will be no more bitterness. Now the duck is easy. I'm going to get it going before the sauce because it has to rest. Have a little duck nap before I slice it. Now, I need a pan. Oh, this is a nice big one. I think I'll cook 2 at once. So before I actually cook the duck, I'm going to render off some of the fat. Not too much because I like a nice layer of fat. Just scoring with a sharp knife, making a crisscross pattern. Now before it gets going too much, I'm just going to season the meat. And you can see the fat starts to run. I'm just going to pour a bit of this off because if I get too much of it built up together, it's going to deep fry the duck breast and I don't want it to. I give it about 7 minutes on its back and then I flip it over and finish it off. The sauce is really fast. So you need about a quarter cup of sugar and just a splash of water. And as soon as it starts to get golden, I'm adding my vinegar. I want about 3 tablespoons of vinegar, red wine vinegar. 1, 2, 3. And orange juice. And I keep the sections behind. And I'll just let that reduce just a minute or 2. Now, the final moment, 2/3 of a cup of stock and the zest. Now this sauce is going to be perfectly reduced in just a minute. And then you take it off the heat and whisk in a little bit of butter. I want about 2 tablespoons of it. And then just whisk it in so that it melds with the sauce and it doesn't melt. And as soon as I put my orange sections in there, it's going to be killer. And you just slice your duck and serve the sauce over it.
Peas and lettuce are a classic French vegetable dish, and they will be perfect with this duck.
Come in. My brother, this is Gordon. Gordon, this is Anna.
Hello, hi.
And her friend Michelle. Gordon, Michelle.
So, I brought you some dresses.
Good, yay!
With friends coming for a simple feast of French classics, I have one more side dish to prepare, and you won't believe how good it is.
It's funny about this dish, it's just peas and lettuce and onions with bacon, and really they're just simple ingredients, but the dish is so much more than the sum of its parts. It's really very special, and it goes with everything. You can serve it with fish, you can serve it with chicken, you can serve it with duck, obviously. I'm making Petit Pois à la Francaise with lettuce shredded through them and bacon and onions, but I have a little bit of shelling to do. Get my onions frying first. I'm just going to get some butter melting in there, a couple of tablespoons. I'm going to add bacon in a minute. Bacon, I just want about 4 slices of bacon. Normally I'd put olive oil with the butter so it doesn't burn, but there's bacon fat going in there before too long, so I'm not worried. Take 4 slices. And then I'm just going to cut this bacon. Once it's sizzling, got lots of bubbles and foaming, add the onions, because they'll take the longest. So the bacon goes in right with the onions. Once the bacon gets all nice and golden like that, and the onions are starting to soften, then I can add all the little peas and about 2/3 of a cup of stock, chicken stock again. Just going to cover that. Lettuce goes in at the end. I'm using just a little butter lettuce, and I want it to stay bright. Woo! See, the stock disappears and it just makes a tiny little bit of sauce around it. And as soon as the peas are tender, this lettuce just wilts into the peas And you get these strands of green lettuce threading through the peas and little spots of white onion and bacony bits. Salt and pepper. There, that's it. That is done. I can relax.
Chilled souffle, made with fresh berries. Pomme Anna, a creamy stacked potato cake. Duck à l'orange, duck breast in a syrupy orange sauce with zests. And Petit Pois la Francaise, a tumble of baby peas in shredded lettuce with onions and bacon.
Have a seat. This is the potato cake. Who doesn't have what? Oh,
Fashion
of
and
all things
food.
fashionable. Will you make it? I'll give you the recipe if you want. And dessert is souffle.
It's such a feminine dessert.
Still tastes good.
Can you invite me again?
Yeah, sure. Cheers. Here's to us, none finer.
Beautiful, Laura.